Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Dear students of class 6, I welcome you again in today's lecture. As you know, the first chapter focuses on what, why, how, and when. Today we are discussing the question when. Yesterday I discussed a quote. History is studied geographically and geography studied historically. That means let us first talk about geography. We have already covered the lectures on geography and we have seen how things evolved, how the origin of Earth took place, how landforms evolved, how there were various continents that were found. So, what we are trying to do, we are trying to see how they formed, how they evolved, how people live, what was the basic areas, how cultures evolved. So all those, that is the idea of how would come under the geography, is studied historically because we are seeing evolutionary patterns. And again, when we talk about history, history is studied geographically because we must know where the major kingdoms were, where the major wars were fought, what were the major trade centers in the country, what were the areas which were fertile. Again, we must be able to understand the areas which were bestowed with and which were deserted. And the areas which were bestowed with were the major centers for attraction and were the major centers for cultural development. The deserted areas has been isolated since long, so you have lesser kind of histories that would be found in these areas. So again, history is studied geographically. Now, once we know the geographical aspect, we can very well understand the history of that region and how things changed over that area. Now, let us say in the area of Harappan civilization, we have civilization of Kalibagan in Rajasthan, we have Lothal in Gujarat. So all these were the areas where in ancient time you had tributaries of Ganga that were flowing. So what was the major cause? This area was sometimes fertile and therefore you had a kind of well bestowed civilization in that area. Now, when we understand the concept of wire, we will see where the centers of food gathers. So, you have the tribal pockets or the forest pockets that were there. So, those would be the areas of food gathering and hunting. Then, you have the areas which were, let us say, low hills of mountain regions. So you would have the animal rearing practicing that would be found. Then travel was an integral part of history as well as geography. Most of the islands in continents were discovered, was a result of traveling that we will study in geography, inshallah. But travel led to the expansion of many kingdoms. So you have the Media that was performed, that was the horse riding into the territory, and wherever it ran, you have the whole territory that was acquired. All those kinds of events that you have. Alexander, who came from Greece and invaded India. Uh, Also, you all those invasions that were the result of the travel. sorry, all those invasions were the result of the travel. So travel is an integral part of history. Then, as I said, where the major wars took place, where the major kingdoms were located, is another important topic which I am going to discuss tomorrow. Inshallah, this is all about today. Stay home, stay safe. Assalamu